One of these men spent 2 years studying the psychiatric techniques of African witch doctors. What is your name, please?
My name is Raymond Prince.
My name is Raymond Prince.
My name is Raymond Prince.
Only one of these men is the real Raymond Prince. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Barry Nelson, and Kitty Carlisle on To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Oh, my. How are you this evening, panel? Well, it's fun to welcome you to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by Anacin, the headache remedy with a special combination of ingredients to relieve pain, to relax tension, and to soothe irritability. Anacin. All right, are we all ready and set to go?
Yes.
Eager and, okay. Would you open up that envelope then and follow along as I read? I, Raymond Prince, am a psychiatrist. Some time ago, while working in Africa, I had an opportunity to make a study of tribal witch doctors. I spent 2 years living among the natives, observing their witch doctors in action. I studied sorcery and the medical use of rare and exotic remedies for sickness and disease. As a psychiatrist, I was most interested in the native methods of treating mental illness. The witch doctor's treatment can cost up to $300 and takes about 3 months. It can last much longer if the patient doesn't pay in advance. I must conclude that our modern psychiatric techniques are really not much superior to those of some African witch doctors. Signed, Raymond Prince. Panel, these three gentlemen all claim to be Dr. Raymond Prince, psychiatrist and expert on witch doctors. Let's start the questioning with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Thank you, Bud. Dr. Prince, number 2. It says here that you worked in Africa, but I would like to know, what's the name for witchcraft in Haiti?
I don't know.
Oh, see, well, number 3, does each tribe have its own doctor?
Yes, typically each tribe does.
Number 1, I saw a movie once in which the witch doctor wished the fellow would die and he died. Is that possible?
I believe it is.
Number 3, American psychiatrists can't do that, can they?
If they do, they don't talk about it.
Number 2, how long does, where do they get the $300?
Well, the people have a currency, or they can do a certain amount of field work on cocoa plantations, etc.
Barry Nelson.
Number 2, are many of these difficulties marital in nature? Do they have?
Surprisingly, yes.
Like
here.
Yeah. Number 1, what does juju mean?
It's a word to describe a kind of bad medicine, or I'll leave it at that.
Do you agree with that, number 2?
Yes.
Does it have an object of veneration in mind, by any chance?
I believe I understand that.
Number 3, does juju have anything to do, say, with superstition?
Juju is a matter of high power. It's a matter of great power bestowed on the bearer.
Kitty.
Thank you. Number 1, does a psychiatrist have to have an MD degree?
Yes.
Number 2, does a psychoanalyst have to have an MD degree?
No.
Number 3, where is Macumba practiced?
I don't know.
Number 1, where is voodoo practiced?
Haiti.
Number 3, can you tell me exactly where you were? Number 2?
Yes, Nigeria.
In Nigeria. Number 3, when you were in Nigeria, what did these people give in terms of 300? Psychoanalysis is expensive there as it is here.
The Nigerian population, of course, does have the Nigerian pound, so they do have a currency, but goats, pigs, hogs, and so on are...
Thank you. Number 1, do they believe in dolls that you stick pins in?
No, but Tom Poston does. Tom?
Thank you. Number 3, I understand that some African tribes have 2 different kinds of medicine men. Is that correct?
Very often you'll find that there's more than one medicine man. Their techniques will differ.
In the same tribe I'm talking about. Number 2, now, it seems here that these patients are obliged to pay. Is there such a thing as African socialized medicine?
No, the witch doctors are very strong on this point. They want to be paid or else they won't release their patient.
From what?
Well, there you have the difference. And now you can vote for or against it as you mark your ballots immediately, please, without change and no consultation, of course, permitted. As you vote now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. And our team of challengers will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. All ballots marked? Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 1. I didn't get a chance to ask him any questions, and I think he deserved something.
Peggy Cass, your choice.
I voted for number 3. I always thought jujubes were those things that you ate in the movies. Number 1 said that you had to be a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist did not have to be a medical doctor. No. And a psychoanalyst, I always thought, did have to be a medical doctor. No, that's what my husband tells me.
The opposite.
No, analysts have to be doctors.
No.
Girl, you can settle this later between the two of you. Barry, what is your vote?
Juju has to do with venerating some object that has a... something to do with superstition. That's what it is. It's not as funny. But I don't know if Mr. Prince is the same man, psychiatrist, just came back. He said that he cured a native, and he charged him a price, and the native wouldn't pay him. He said, I have to pay the witch doctor. He said, why? I cured you. He says, yeah, but the witch doctor sent me to you. 1.
Kitty.
I voted for number 3 because I thought he gave a good answer about juju, not what you read in the movies. And the other 2 are marvelous, though. It may well be anybody.
So there, it's evenly split, as I see it. It's 2 for number 3, 2 for number 1. And with that, we go into the charmed circle of truth to find out whether there's been any hex put on this voting, and as you learn how close to the truth you have come, and find out which of these gentlemen is the psychiatrist and expert on witch doctors. So will the real Dr. Raymond Prince please stand up? We thank you, sir. Was this a real, honest story that you read somewhere about?
Yes, that's a true story.
Is that? Did you know that
Are you
story?
the man who came back and told that?
Not my story.
Well, it's your story. He collected. No problem. Number 2, what is your real name, sir, and what do you really do?
My name is Bob Goodman. I'm an insurance broker.
And number 3, you split the votes. What is your real name, and what do you do, sir?
My name is Philip Wenig. I'm president of Data Incorporated, a research and data processing company.
Well, gentlemen, I don't have to tell you too much because whatever it was, you did fine, and that meant there were 2 incorrect votes, and that's mighty good, believe me. Twice $250 is $500 coming your way from Addison, as well, of course, as on your way out a gift package of all the fine products from the makers of Addison. We thank you for being with us and only hope you enjoyed your visit as much as we did. Good night, and God bless you. Now, my friends, I bring you our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Victor Trucco.
My name is Victor Trucco.
My name is Victor Trucco.
And so, my friends, follow along, if you will, and listen while I read. I, Victor Trucco, am an assistant conductor and also a prompter at the legendary Metropolitan Opera House. As an opera prompter, I follow the score and help those singers on stage who may have forgotten the words or the music, or possibly have gotten mixed up in their stage directions. I sit facing the performers in a special opening set in the front of the stage, right at the center of the footlights. I am shielded from the audience's view by a low hood. My head is just above the level of the stage. Since my back is both to the audience and to the conductor, I must follow his beat through a rear view mirror. The position of the prompter exposes him to hazards from on stage. These include flying plates, overly energetic dancers, and assorted animals such as horses and donkeys. Signed, Victor Trucco. Very well, panel. You've heard these three gentlemen all claiming to be the same one. By name, Victor Trucco. By occupation, the hazardous one of being the prompter at the Metropolitan Opera House. Let's start this cross-examination with Barry Nelson. Barry?
Thank you, Bud. Number 3, how many rehearsals do you have to attend on an opera?
That depends on the opera, whether it's a routine standard opera or...
How many rehearsals does an opera normally have at the Met?
Well, standard opera like Traviata, of course, will get much fewer rehearsals than a new opera like The Last Savage.
Number 1, Joan Sutherland tried a new part recently. Do you know what that is?
It's Traviata.
Number 3 again, Richard Tucker tried a new part this season. Do you know which part that is?
Yes, he did Trovatore.
Number 2, this being a prompter, what kind of a background do you need for that?
Well, basically, you study the scores of the opera, primarily the vocal scores as opposed to the musical scores.
Kitty.
Number 1, how many stage managers are they to push the people on and off during an opera?
Oh, there are about 7 or 8.
Thank you. Number 2, who is the director of choreography at the Metropolitan?
That is Alicia Markova this year.
Thank you. Number 3, how many languages do you prompt in?
4.
4. Number 1, when you prompt 4 people all at once, how do you give them each the cue?
Well, you usually give the cue to the most important one.
And let the others fall by the wayside?
Well, you help them out.
It's better to be a prima donna then.
It is much better.
Number 2, what have you been hit by when you've been in the prompt box?
Well, being hit, in Bohème, there is always a danger of flying crockery, of course, in the Café Momus scene. There is also, from time to time, the danger of a dancer falling into the prompter's box.
Thank you.
Tom Poston.
Gosh. Number 2, what are you doing there? You can't prompt dancers, can you?
No. When the ballet is on, of course, I can sit. If it is a long ballet, as for example in Aida, I can leave the prompter's box and get a cup of coffee downstairs in the electrician's booth or what have you.
Thank you. Number 1, do you conduct?
I do I haven't conducted the Metropolitan, but I do conduct.
Now, do you ever conduct in addition to the conductor whom you can see in the mirror?
Well, I have to do all sorts of conducting to the singers, you know, from my pit.
Yes. Thank you. Number 3, do you recite when you're in the prompter's box?
I don't know just what you mean.
Well, let me put it this way. Do you ever recite aloud?
I read them the lines, if they have lines. Is that what you mean?
Aloud?
Fairly loud.
Peggy.
Thank you.
Number 2, do you have the score in the box with you?
I have the vocal score, which has only the piano part.
Number 3, who wrote I Puritani?
Bellini.
Number 1, Garson Kanin directed an opera at the Metropolitan. Could you please tell me the name of that opera?
I think it was the Fledermaus.
Thank you. Number 2, who conducted at Spoleto last summer?
That was Thomas Shippers.
Number 3, whom does Leinsdorf conduct for?
Boston Symphony.
And number 1, who wrote La Sonnambula?
Bellini.
Number 3, what opera is Hans Sachs in?
Meistersinger.
Gee, they know a lot. Number 2, who does a man or woman play the marshal in?
Oh, that's a woman.
Number...
And that's it. Boy, what a shame. I tell you, I'm amazed at how much you all know. But in any event, it's time to see how well you put your knowledge together by marking your ballots, if you will, please, for the one you think is the real one. Vote now.
Peggy.
Vote now without consultation, and vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All marked? All right, Tom, we start with you again. For whom did you vote?
I voted for number 1 because at the beginning, when they introduced these gentlemen up on the platform, he stood like this, and I guess that's part of his life.
A permanent prompter's crick. Peggy, what is your choice?
He did. Oh. So I voted for number 3 because he looked down and I figured he was going to see where those plates went.
Barry?
I thought number 1 was the prompter because all through the questioning, he looked like the one who was giving us a line.
And Kitty, which one do you think is the real
I
one?
thought they were all absolutely fantastic. I've never seen anything like it, but I voted for number one mostly for Tom's reasons.
Very well, there we have 3 for number 1 and 1 for number 3, and we go with that one into our truth circle to find out whether we've hit it on the nose or not. And learn now which one of these gentlemen actually is the prompter at the Metropolitan Opera House. So will the real Maestro Victor Trucco please stand up? Gentlemen, I must add my plaudits to those of my panel friends here, who, as far as I'm concerned, have no peers anyway, but you really were great. You were just simply splendid. It was a magnificent job. Yes, they did all right. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My real name is Luigi Lucioni. I'm a painter and etcher of landscapes and still lifes.
And number 2, what is your real name, sir, and what do you do?
My name is Mitchell Rubino. I am an international mover of household goods.
Well, you did a beautiful, beautiful job. And, of course, in checking the score, you already know that there were 3 incorrect votes that you trapped them into. And at $250 each, you can add that as fast as I can, I'm sure. And this season, there's $750 coming your way from Anison. And on your way out, you'll be given a gift package of all of the fine products from the makers of Anison. We give you our thanks, gentlemen, which is not enough, I know, but you did give us grand entertainment and hope you had as much fun, too. Good night, and God bless you. All right, let's meet our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Paula Simmons.
My name is Paula Simmons.
My name is Paula Simmons.
And will you follow along once again with me, panel, with your copies? I, Paula Simmons, raise sheep. After shearing, I personally spin my own yarn and sell over 40,000 yards of wool yarn a year. By careful selection, my husband and I have developed an unusual strain of sheep with very distinctive wool. What makes our sheep unusual is the fact that every one of them is black. To the best of my knowledge, I am the only breeder of exclusively black sheep in the world. Signed, Paula Simmons. And these 3 ladies all claim to be Paula Simmons, raiser of exclusively black sheep in the family. So we'll start this line of questioning with Tom Poston. Tom?
Thank you, Bud. Number 3, this is a fact that as a sheep grower you may know something about. In Australia, the sheep are in danger from a bird. Do you know of the kind of bird I'm talking about?
No, I come from Scotland. I wouldn't know about Australia.
Maybe you do, number 2. Have you heard about this?
I am Australian, and I don't know about it.
No. Number 1, do you happen to know about it?
No, sir.
Well, I'll be Hornswoggle. Number 1, tie me kangaroo down. Number 1, where's your ranch?
In the state of Washington.
Where's yours, number 2, please?
Australia, New South Wales.
Oh, number 3, where's your ranch? In Scotland?
In East Lothian, Scotland, yes.
Peggy Cass.
Boy.
That's about opera.
Number 3, do the black sheep really lead the sheep?
Well, I have all black sheep, so no one really leads.
But number 2, like in most places, if they have one black sheep, is that the leader? I've always wondered about number 2, please.
If you have a large herd of mixed sheep, I would assume yes. But again, I have all black sheep.
Yes. Gee, who leads? Oh, you got nothing but generals and no soldiers over there. Number 1, there's a certain Spanish person that comes from a certain part of Spain that's marvelous as sheep herders. What nationality is that?
We call them Basques. I don't know if that's the nationality.
All right, Barry Nelson.
All right, number 3, who sang Il Trovatore? What do you call your sheep? I mean, not by name, but what type of sheep is it?
It's a crossbreed breed between Lincolns and Corriedales.
Do you use machinery, or do you hand shear them, or is much...
My husband does the shearing, and it's all by hand.
Thank you. How much is wool per pound now?
It's about 40 cents in this country. It'd be about 2 and 6 in Scotland.
Number one, to whom do you sell your wool?
Direct to customers.
Number two, what kind of illnesses are the sheep most prone to?
Worms, generally.
Oh.
Kitty.
Number one, what is a teg?
It's a dirty piece.
And number two, what is a merino?
A merino is the sheep that you most commonly find in Australia. It's one that's fairly heavy in build and it has a great deal of wool.
Thank you. Number three, the Bedouins' tents are black. Are they made of black sheep's wool?
I don't know.
Number one, do you know?
No, I don't know.
Is your spinning done, number two, by hand, or you
Yes.
don't have a spinning wheel that you work like Marguerite and Faust? We're back to the opera. Huh?
Yes, I
Yes.
spin with a wheel.
You do. How long does it take you to spin a pound of wool?
Well, that's all the time we have. We'll have to leave it right there and vote with what knowledge we have gained, and vote well if you can, and see how well you do as you learn marking without consultation for number one, or number two, or number three. You're all finished already. Well, that was quick. Tom, which one did you select?
I voted for number one because I figure she's got a suit on made out of her wool. It's the only black suit in the place.
Peggy, what is your choice?
She just shook her head no, but that probably... Well, I felt anybody that would say that sheep died of worms really knows them and must have them.
Barry, which one do you think it is?
Well, I think Peggy did hit the nail on the head, if I may throw that epigram in.
Yes, do.
But I voted for number three. I thought she seemed to be a little more confident about it.
Well, there we have one each now. With which are you siding?
I voted for number three because a teg is not a dirty piece. A teg is a male sheep. Silly.
It could be a dirty man.
And number three was very hesitant about the price of wool, and I figured that it fluctuates a good deal, so she didn't want to say exactly what it cost because it might be fluctuating as she spoke.
All right, there we have it. Widely split this time for the first time tonight. Let's see how well we go into our charm circle with this one. In discovering the truth, we will now learn which one of these young ladies actually is the real raiser of strictly black sheep. So will the real Paula Simmons please stand up? Have a seat, if you will, so we can hear you. Now, you want to settle this little squabble with Kitty now? What is a teg?
The tag is the very dirtiest part of the wool in the rear. Believe me.
Now, I have Kitty, do you wish to have her back up that statement? Or shall we just let it go at that? Oh, my. Number two, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Gillian Crestman, and I'm a writer of short stories.
And number three, you got the major portion of the votes. What is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Nancy Jupp, and I'm in charge of the office for the 1964 Open Golf Championship.
Well, it's easy to check the score because you repeated what happened in the second round tonight. There were 3 incorrect, and at $250 each, add it yourself. 750 nice, bright, shiny dollars coming your way. That from Anison, as well as the gift package of all the fine products from the makers of Anison. Ladies, we thank you very much. You seem to have had a good time, and so did we. It was nice meeting you. Good night, and God bless you. Well, I trust you'll associate with a better breed of sheep from now on.
I want to go back to opera.
You're much safer on that footing. Thank you all very much, as always, for making it a bright and shining evening. And thanks to all of you, too, and I trust we'll see you again next week at the same time, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon on the daytime show. And in the meantime, may I remind you, gently but firmly, in behalf of Anison, to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Truth has been brought to you by Tristan Nasal Mist, the decongestant nasal spray for relief in seconds from sinus congestion and head cold distress. Tristan Nasal Mist. This is Johnny Olson speaking, for To Tell the Truth, this program was recorded.